Hey there, everyone. This is Andrew J. Polk. I know, long time no talk. Been doing a lot of things. A lot of things have been moving around in the background here, as you actually may be seeing with the literal background here of those of us joining us online as we are streaming this initially. Is that we are in a new studio here. This is the American Journey Productions studio over in the Five Points area, so still very much in El Paso. And this is a studio that actually got a couple of the views I can give you here of it. This one was from a little bit earlier, and then also we do have, you can see me live from behind my head, part of the setup here. It's a podcasting and video recording studio that we've set up in conjunction also with the Tipton Sports Broadcasting Network. But I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been going on as we have Milo joining us over there. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's been a minute, and I do appreciate some of y'all who have reached out personally through other messages and all those kind of things. It's been kind of a duck on the pond kind of situation here. If you never heard that analogy, is that a duck may look calm, like there's not much going on, but they're under the water paddling like crazy. And that's been a little bit of the example of what's been going on here. So we have some other people tuning in as well. Patriot Chick and Marco from Air Chill Music. Again, appreciate y'all tuning in. So, and this has not been, I mean, some of you again have reached out personally to me and through other methods, and it has not been my intention to ignore y'all, but I'm also personally and professionally the kind of person to not say, oh, we have so many awesome things coming on. And when things are not ready and like inked ready to go there just yet. So did want to, now that we have some things set in stone, let you all know what's going on. So obviously we had our last radio broadcast back in October of last year. It was not exactly planned, but some of the updates that are going on here is that I am no longer with iHeartRadio in El Paso or in any other capacity. As a matter of fact, there are basically, to my understanding, no further live and local programming coming out of that outlets. Some of the things that have been going on have been trying to work on that. So you may have seen that there were some live and local things happening there, particularly from the Tipton Sports Broadcasting Network, the Fire and Ice show that the eagle-eyed among you may have noticed me having bits of a involvement with, if only in kind of a production capacity and in other ways. So that's been going on, but that has also largely ceased as well. So I'm not going to speak too much about that, which I do not have direct control over, but I will tell you some of the updates that have been happening. Those also paying attention online may notice that we're on basically all of the previous radio show pages that I've been associated with. That includes both my journalism pages, Andrew J. Polk, the Talk El Paso show, as well as the El Paso History Radio show. And this largely concerns all of those. But what I will say is that I'll be doing some more specific with each of those programs as is appropriate and makes sense. But the sum total of what's happening here is that these shows are, as much as we put up the status of being on hiatus, that is basically now the more or less permanent status. Because again, iHeartRadio El Paso has made the decision to essentially no longer have live and local programming. Neither myself nor anything else on those stations fits that description. So where does that leave this? Largely, these shows are not going to continue in at least the same way that they were. There are going to be no more broadcasts, at least for the foreseeable future, on any terrestrial radio, though these pages will stay up because they do serve as an archive in a way. Not going to say that this is going to be necessarily 100% the permanent status, and like I said, as more comes along, we'll put up some updates on the specific pages. What I will say is that as we are making these decisions and some of the things have been going on, there were attempts to try and bring this fully back to you because I am still very much 100% in on El Paso, our borderland region, and of covering and talking about the things going on, happening here, and that are, well, important to the people who live, work, play. None of that commitment has gone away on my part here, and that has been what we've largely been trying to do, some deals that have essentially not worked out in the background of this whole time. So as much as I would have loved to have said, oh yeah, we're totally coming back, doing all of these things, simply fact of the matter is that that has not happened and does not seem that it is going to happen. So where does that leave this? As we also have Richard Janicek and Harry Kirk tuning in, and appreciate y'all chiming in there as well. So, where that leaves us here at this point is that I am still going to be here working and being in El Paso. And more specifically, I have now taken a position as the assignment desk editor with KVIA here in El Paso. Those who have been following me for quite a long time now, actually better part of a decade or over in some cases, will know that I was previously there as a anchor and reporter, and you'll still probably be seeing me actually in such a capacity. In fact, some of the more eagle-eyed amongst y'all may have noticed a couple of bylines that have already come back there because I have now started with KVIA as of this last week. So I'm getting up to speed there, but also maybe doing some reporting. So yes, I will be still in broadcast in probably some way or another, even if just fingerprints left on it and not exactly the face. But that is the situation that we are looking at here at this point. I am very excited and grateful for that opportunity because it's a little bit more, it's at least partially behind the scenes, probably the bulk of it anyway, and talking about what is going to be covered, trying to bring the most important breaking news and other coverage stories to you all. So, do have some new email addresses. I know some of you all out there were nice enough to send me releases and things like that in the past, ask for coverage. You can now do that to me at andrew.polk@kvia.com. That's where you're going to be there. Laura Williams saying we'll be looking for you there. I was mildly disappointed, actually. They no longer have a newsroom shot. I mean, they have a very nice new set that they're very happy to use, and I don't really begrudge them that, but it means that I was kind of looking forward to the idea of like peeking around in the background because that's what that used to, at least when I was there previously, but that doesn't exist anymore. But I still probably will be coming out on air infrequently too, depending on the situation demands it. So you'll still be able to see me that way. Probably bylines over on kvia.com. Patriot Chick asking, is the El Paso History Radio Show still available? So for all of these programs, the archives are still going to stay up on Facebook and other social media as they have been. No intention to take that down, though I guess the potential future for each of these programs may go into that in a little bit more detail in kind of separate. This one is addressing just the whole situation. So yes, for now, all of these shows will not be continuing in broadcast, though do reserve the right to maybe resurrect them on special occasion or maybe in more of a podcast form. There are now media agreements and performance agreements that are coming into place with this. So that's just kind of the situation. But I mean, I have loved being able to talk about the issues and particularly the aspects of our history, culture, heritage, etc. going on in our region. So I'm not going to 100% rule those out, though it'll kind of be a question of, okay, what is possible at this point in time and what will be available to do that and not have other issues with, being on one outlet coming on another. It used to be that, well, that's you're on TV, other outlets, the radio are fine, but I mean, everything is internet these days and everything goes on the internet. KVI, I can say, is their stated position of being digital first. So the internet is very much a consideration for all of this. So, but I will say they have a few podcasts that they're doing here as well. And I will still be doing production behind the scenes. As I mentioned, particularly those who are just joining us, where I am sitting right now is the American Journey Productions studios. That, again, a couple of those exterior or aerial views, including how I'm producing this right now. We do have podcast production studios still doing some of those things. So you might see those going around and other appearances and stuff that I've done. So if you have anything that y'all are wanting to do, so I'll still be doing some other production and things behind the scenes through other outlets, other companies, not other outlets really, still just KVIA for when it comes to media, but producing podcasts, doing things like that, both video, audio, what have you. Also doing some audiobook stuff, and I will be posting up things like that going on online. And so like Laura Williams asking, I hope that their Facebook gets more active with you there. I mean, they do put up quite a lot, actually, multiple times a day, but at the very least, I can say that the things that I'm doing I'll be posting them online. So most of these social media pages that I'm directly in control of have, again, largely kind of been in hibernation. I've been a couple peaks here and there, like when there were elections or earthquakes that have been going on. But I'll be trying to bring you all more of that, as well as my social media gets back to being a bit more active. But like I said, I'm the kind of person that, as much as I have great intentions, and there has been a lot of work and attempts at deals being made in the background, this is how it has all settled out. So yes, you can find me over there on, again, KVIA, ABC7 here in El Paso, and doing like web stories and other things and behind the scenes there and occasionally coming out on air. So be sure to check out for that. And again, if you all want to send me anything, as I will be doing a lot more of that, please, andrew.polk@kvia.com. best way to get to me, because that is what I will be focused on, is making sure to bring as many of the stories as possible to all of y'all. So I appreciate y'all having joined us here for this brief explanation of what's going on, because it's been kind of tearing me up, to be perfectly honest with y'all, not being able to say what's going on, what has been happening, because there's just been so many moving parts at attempts, refocuses, trying to make things happen. But this is just how it's going to be for now. And I, again, incredibly grateful to KVIA giving me the opportunity and a chance to once again be there with them and work more in this capacity. So at least one more question coming here. Any chance of hosting some of the shows on YouTube as a live broadcast? So they do. Okay. When it comes to actual like content coming out like this that is directly related to news coverage, that's all going to be KVIA's thing. I don't know. We'll have to see how exactly what is still allowable in this day and age for being on one outlets. I mean, I don't know. I kind of still like just having off the cuff discussions and talking about issues going on here. Still kind of sad that that's not a terrifically prevalent thing, because, I mean, doing TV news is a different thing and will definitely have a different tone and tenor to it. So I'm just going to say for now, we'll see. That's the best I can give you, unfortunately, because it's kind of up in the air. I mean, we're still in this ever-evolving media landscape, and what is possible and what may or may not be allowable, I cannot fully say right now. And that's not me being coy of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We'll see. I would love the chance to be able to still talk with you all about like, hey, what do you think about these issues going on? Because there's a lot to be talked about. The news has never exactly been lax in our region, and if anything, it's accelerated even faster since we've been here. So, and in the time we've been not bringing it to y'all. So this is so much to say that stay tuned. At the very least, on these channels, I'll be bringing you the stuff that I am working on. I mean, occasionally might be asking you, hey, anyone have this issue, this going on? Do you want to talk about something that's going on for, again, broadcast purposes in that way? But there's a lot of options. The future holds many possibilities, and I'm very excited to be able to continue to explore, at the very least, some of these with y'all. And I certainly absolutely appreciate y'all being along in this ride with us. The fact that some people are still tuning in and coming into this is actually deeply touching to me. So I've appreciated each and every one of you, everyone who has interacted, been a part of the show and shows in any way. Again, we will see what the future holds, and when we have anything more concrete and more clarified, I guess we should really say, we will certainly do so. But in the meantime, yes, the radio shows, as they were, no longer going to be on radio. Still looking at some of the podcast possibilities. That's the really best I can give you right now. So again, appreciate everyone who have been on here, everyone who has asked some of the questions, and just been a part of this experience overall. Take a look for us, and then keep looking out for El Paso. That's what I really got to say, because us talking about the issues and making sure people know what's going on has still been very near and dear to my heart. And I think that some of y'all being along for this ride, I think it shows that you do too. So that's what we'll keep doing. And if, again, anything you want to reach out to me or talk about, feel free. Again, andrew.polk@kvia.com. And or also, if you reach out to me on these pages, if you got a podcast you want to do, I can still be doing some of that production stuff in the background. But in any case, thank you all very much for being with us here for this kind of impromptu, off the cuff, and just kind of general updates, what's been going on now that we have some things for certain, as I have once again embarked upon the television broadcast radio part of my career. So thank you all very much for being with me here right now, and I'll look forward to talking with you all and seeing you all on TV here in the future. Have a great weekend, y'all.